Somewhere in Formula One, there's a scoreboard that never makes it onto a broadcast graphic. It doesn't track points. It doesn't track wins. It tracks who said what, and who's still waiting to say it back. George Russell and Lando Norris have been filling that scoreboard for 8 years. Same generation, same country, same paddock. And every single season, somebody finds a new way to draw blood. This summer, Lando Norris opened his mouth once and closed out the account in full. This is the Paddock War. Welcome to Front Lockout. Chapter 1, 2018. In the beginning. Every rivalry needs an origin story, and this one starts in Formula 2. In 2018, George Russell won the title with ART Grand Prix, 7 race wins, a commanding championship. Lando Norris finishes runner-up with Carlin, 1 win, 68 points back. On paper, it looks simple. Russell was faster. And for years, that's exactly the story Russell's camp told. 2 drivers, equal machinery, and Russell came out on top. Except it wasn't equal. His racing team was an established powerhouse. Carlin was returning from a hiatus. Russell had a full year of tyre data from GP3 already in his pocket. Norris was a rookie, fresh off a completely different tyre compound, learning on the fly. Norris knew it wasn't a fair fight, and he never forgot it. That's the foundation. Everything that happens next happens on top of that. Chapter 2. The Jab. Fast forward to the opening round of 2025, Australian Grand Prix. McLaren shows up with a rocket ship, and Norris wins from the front row in brutal, changeable conditions. Russell finishes third. So what does Russell do? He goes to the press, and instead of congratulating McLaren, he suggests their advantage is so massive, they might as well abandon this year's car entirely and pour everything into 2026. It sounds like praise. It isn't. It's a trap. Set the bar impossibly high, then watch McLaren stumble under the weight of their own hype. Norris saw it coming from a mile away. Sitting right next to Russell in the post-race press conference, he didn't deflect. He looked him dead in the eye and said it straight. I know George made some comments earlier this weekend that they can just turn our focus to 2026. If that's their mentality, wonderful, but that's not the mentality to have. Sorry, mate. We know we still have a lot of work to do on this year's car. If you relax in this position, you fail. Strong words delivered ice cold in front of every camera in the room. Norris didn't just reject the premise. He called out the mindset behind it, live, sitting shoulder to shoulder with the man who set the trap. Round 1 to Norris. Chapter 3. I wanted to give you a toe. In the penultimate round of that season, Norris locked in a white-knuckle title fight with his own teammate, Oscar Piastri. Qualifying goes wrong. Norris messes up turn 2, aborts his final lap, settles for second on the grid behind Piastri. Then, in the media pen, a reporter drops a live grenade. Word is, Norris is blaming Russell for ruining his entry into turn 1. What happens next plays out on camera, driver to driver, no filter. You told me the reason you messed up turn 1 was because of me, said Russell. Who said that? Asked Norris. Someone said you were blaming me, Norris replied. It's media, mate. Obviously bullshit. I can't believe you believe them over me. I'm pretty disappointed in you. Then Russell replied. It sounded like something you might say, though. And then Russell lands the real shot. Sarcastic, surgical, aimed straight at Norris's title nerves. I wanted to give you a toe to help win the championship. Think about what that line actually does. Norris is fighting for his first world championship under more pressure than he's ever felt in his career. And Russell frames his own track position as charity. A gift. Something Norris needed help with. Both drivers laughed it off for the cameras. Forced smiles. Handshake energy. But everyone in that room knew exactly what had just happened. Russell had found the pressure point, and he'd pressed it, on live television, with a title on the line. Norris went on to win that championship in Abu Dhabi. But scars like that don't heal. They wait. Chapter 4. Melbourne 2026. New year. New regulations. And the entire competitive order flips upside down. Mercedes shows up with the class of the field. Russell wins from pole in Melbourne, 1-2 finish for the team. Norris? 5th place, nearly a minute behind. McLaren caught flat-footed by the new energy recovery rules. Frustrated, Norris goes public, calling the new hybrid systems artificial and claiming F1 traded the best cars in the sport's history for, in his words, probably the worst. And Russell doesn't miss the opening. He goes straight for the jugular, dismissing Norris's complaints as nothing but sour grapes. If he was winning, I don't think he'd be saying the same. Everyone is always looking to themselves, and we are all selfish in this regard. Then he does something even sharper. He digs up receipts. Russell reminds everyone of the porpoising crisis, when the whole grid was in physical pain from bouncing cars, except McLaren, who publicly claimed their car wasn't porpoising at all. Even as trackside data told a different story. And then the final twist of the knife. Last year we had the same engine as them, and McLaren did a better job than us, and they beat us. Now McLaren have got the same engine as us, and so far we've done a better job than them. That's just how the game goes. Translation, it's not the rules, Lando. It's you. Chapter 5, Counterattack, which brings us to right now. And this is when Norris stopped trading jabs and threw the knockout. Because a funny thing happened after Melbourne 2026. Russell's own car turned into a monster, but not for him. His rookie teammate, Kimi Antonelli, went on a 5-race winning streak and opened up a 50-point championship lead. And Russell, for the first time in his career, started sounding like the guy making excuses. His explanation? A 20-year braking habit, impossible to unlearn, costing him time under the new energy regeneration rules. Technical analysts backed the theory up. His late, hard braking style really was leaving lap time on the table compared to Antonelli's smoother inputs. But explanation or not, to Norris, it sounded exactly like Melbourne 2025 all over again. And this time, Norris, now a reigning world champion, didn't hold back. Adaptability is, for me, one of the best qualities one can have. You either adapt or drown. These guys are considered the best drivers on the planet, and they get paid obscene amounts of money to do basically one job: drive the car they are given as fast as possible around a track. And then he made it personal, by pointing out he'd lived this exact situation himself. The 2025 McLaren didn't suit him at first either. Piastri was flying, Norris was struggling. But instead of going to the press, Norris said, he spent months quietly changing his own inputs, until a suspension tweak finally clicked and he took the title. No excuses. No braking habit narrative. Just adaptation. Then Norris went further, invoking the two names that end every debate in Formula One: Verstappen, Hamilton. Drivers who, in Norris's framing, can climb into anything and make it fast, reading what the car tells them instead of fighting it. That's the standard. That's the bar Russell was falling short of, on record, in real time. And finally, Norris took Russell's own nothing-to-lose comments and turned them into a diagnosis. Last year I went from not much confidence to, what have I got to lose now? He's gone from feeling quite confident to maybe losing some of that confidence. He's got pressure from having a very good teammate and someone who's challenging him incredibly well, not making any mistakes. Read between the lines. Norris isn't calling Russell unlucky, he's calling him rattled. A driver who used to have the swagger, now hiding behind a phrase that sounds like freedom but smells like surrender. This is how much we would take on this one. Leave us your thoughts.